Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It is Friday, and I am in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You can't get a better pairing than the weekend stretching out before you. Got a big Brewers game tomorrow night, big Packers game on Sunday. Two big W's coming your way this weekend, Wisconsin sports fans, and I'll be here in Green Bay to experience it. I am very excited, and as you can see, I am very sunblinded. It is insane how that sun just hovers right over Corey's house right when I go live for Packers Daily, but I wouldn't miss it for the world. Being with you fine folks, Packers fans worldwide, that's what we do here, Cheesehead TV. Not going to lie, I'm dragging a little bit, man. These 6 a.m. flights, they're for the devil. And, getting up at 4:30 to get out to LaGuardia for the flight, it's not how I'm built, man. I ain't built for that life. So I'm revving up. I'm getting ready for Friday night. Let's go. Let's talk some Packers and Bengals. And, of course, you got to start with the injury report. And each and every Friday, our injury report is brought to you by ThedaCare. And look at that injury report. There are a lot of names. But as we discussed yesterday, just because there are a lot of names doesn't mean they're so banged up. Now, with that said, you do see some interesting notes here. Obviously, the headline is undoubtedly the hope for return of Christian Watson has been delayed by at least a week. He will be out. They will not sign him to the 53-man roster tomorrow. Devontae Wyatt, as suspected, will be out against the Bengals. But other than that, we got some questionables for Aaron Banks and Zach Tom. I know Zach Tom spoke with reporters in the locker room this afternoon, talked about how he's really tried to strain himself at practice to try and push himself to make sure that he can go either longer than one play against the Bengals. But yes, for the most part, it's certainly promising to see the potential to have Banks and Tom back out there for the offensive line. There's no doubt that all eyes will be on the front, particularly against Hendrickson, who, like I said earlier this week, he did all he could to try and wreck that game against the Lions last Sunday. Packers got to be aware of him each and every down. Interestingly enough, on the flip side, for the Bengals, Jamar Chase is listed as questionable with an illness. And my first immediate thought was, yeah, he spent a couple practices watching Joe Flacco and got sick. Hey-oh! I kid because I love. But it is certainly something to watch. That would be a monster blow to the Bengals' chances. And they need all the help they can get on offense with a brand new quarterback slinging it around back there in Joe Flacco. One other interesting note, former Green Bay Packer Lucas Patrick has been limited the first couple practices and then was a full participant in today's practice. He also, like Christian Watson, is starting after the PUP stint. He has opened his 21-day window, and I think, given that he was a full participant, there's a decent chance he gets activated tomorrow. So that's something to look for. Get the Lucas Patrick revenge game narrative smoking hot, along with TJ Slayton. TJ, who's been having a good year for the Bengals, and former Packers defensive line coach, now doing that same gig over there in Cincinnati, Jerry Montgomery makes his return to Lambeau Field on Sunday. So there'll be a lot of familiar faces when the Packers blow out the Bengals. I know. I'm kidding. I don't know what's going to happen. I think, yes, the Packers should win this game. This is an eminently beatable team. This is a team they should handle with relative ease, though nothing in the NFL is actually easy. But, yes, this is a game they should win, and they should win handily. Obviously, the specter of a team that continuously plays down to its opponent was certainly prevalent in most Packers fans' minds. That's why I would pick this game if I were a gambling man to be the Packers winning by 10. I know the line is 14 and in some places 14.5, but I think a 10-point victory sounds about right for the green and gold. What's going on, everybody? Good to see everybody chiming in the comments section. So many folks. How you all doing? I do want to give a shout out to our friends over at ThedaCare. They have been a phenomenal partner already in our short time together. ThedaCare is a proud sponsor of Cheesehead TV. Before any big game, make sure your health is in championship form. With more than 115 years of trusted care and a team of experts in over 60 specialties, ThedaCare keeps athletes and fans alike game day ready because winning starts with wellness. All right. You know what else starts my wellness into a weekend? That's right. Come on now. Get yourself a carry of the G, folks, and let's get to your questions. That's good stuff. Good stuff right there. All right. What's going on? Ed, starting us off. What's up, man? Until they win the World Series, all B-ball teams should be required to play Stevie Wonder's You Haven't Done Nothing after each game. I think after each game, I mean, they play like what, 160 some games? I think that would be a bit monotonous. Every ballpark you're leaving, team that hasn't ever won it has to play Stevie Wonder like every single game. Feels like overkill, Ed. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Porkmaster, what's up, man? Press conference, Matt LaFleur said he needs a thesaurus. Why? This is the brouhaha because he said he had major concern about Brandon McManus's injury. And then McManus talked to reporters yesterday afternoon and said, I don't know why he said that. I dealt with this before in my career, and I plan on kicking on Sunday. You know, Matt's got to check his thesaurus. The words got to line up. I actually appreciated the joke, but look, I understand why LaFleur was concerned. You know, you've got a kicker with a leg injury, and it's his kicking leg. Yeah, you're going to be a little concerned. Maybe not majorly concerned, but concerned. No question about it. Joe, what's up? Is this real Nagler or AI Nagler? Yes, our conversation from transplants continues. Although, Joe, I liked your idea that we need to get an AI Bukowski to set off the AI Banky and just have them go to town. That'd be funny. Joe, what's up, man? Packers are 5th in the NFL in passing YPA, 25th in rushing YPA. They run as much as they pass it. Should they be passing more to help set up the run? I think there's an element of truth there. I do think they could stand to throw on early downs a little bit more, but I don't ever see them straying from the run-first approach wholesale. Like, to your point, have they been very productive on those plays? Absolutely not. But there are effects that the running game has, or even the attempt at a running game have, that help your quarterback, that keep defenses honest, that keep linebackers from teeing off, from ends from screaming up the field to get after your QB. It may not come with huge gains on the ground, but it still pays dividends in the passing game. And to your point, they have done very well through the air. Now, most of that, obviously, is Jordan Love, the protection and the receivers. But one component of that is the running game and the way they have stuck with it to keep defenses honest and off balance. It's very easy to start throwing out a bunch of defensive backs and calling all sorts of different coverages when you know your opponent's never going to run the football. But that said, I do agree that they could mix up things on early downs just a little bit more. And they have done that through games as they've progressed, but almost each and every game they've come out wanting to run the ball on first and run the ball early and often. And like I said, I do think they could potentially mix that up just a little bit. Mike, what's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. Hey, Nags, I know this is a Packers chat, but what happened to our Brewers the last 2 games? Euchre has got to be pulling his hair out up there. Go, Pack, go. I mean, this is what I don't understand. I think I recall the Brewers and the Cubs, having a very close season series to the point where I think the Cubs got the better of the Brewers on balance. I believe the Cubs won 7 games. The Brewers won 6 throughout the season. It's not like the Cubs are like some, also ran. They've got a good team. They've got a lot of talent, and certainly I don't think the Brewers have helped them in any way, helped themselves in any way by giving up the runs they have in the first innings of these games. But I do think you come Saturday, you're going to see a team that sets it right and gets back on top of the Cubs early and puts this thing away. That's what I think. But the Cubs winning 2 games in Wrigley, That's hardly a shock, or it shouldn't be. I wouldn't think. Braden, what's up, man? Wow, Aaron, you're glowing today. The aura behind you, tremendous. I smell a win. Yes, that's what's crazy is this is with the shade down. You guys don't even want to know what this would look like. Saying shade. Holy cow. Unbelievable. Nathaniel, thank you, sir. Who they say going to beat them Bengals? We they say going to beat them Bengals. Look at a who they. Oh, who they shout. Although, you got to take a little umbrage with the Bengals coming up with who they. I believe the Saints had who dat first. And then the Bengals also have what they call the jungle jump. This is their Lambeau leap, which is I obviously took from the Packers, and they play Todd Rundgren when they do it. Bengals, come on. Come up with your own stuff. That's all I ask. Ed says playoff games. I see. In response to having to play Stevie Wonder after playoff games. Still feels like it might get a little monotonous, but I hear you. Jason, how are you, sir? I think our ails are easy to fix. It's continually on the offensive line as well as being more disciplined and meaner. They need to embrace their inner Josh Sitton and Mike Wall. Just my 2 cents. I hear you there. And funnily enough, with Lucas Patrick coming back or potentially coming back, he was that type of player as well. He was a guy who played to the echo of the whistle, right? I do tend to think that you're onto something there. Like we need a little bit more nasty up front, and of all the guys who have exhibited that kind of behavior, it has been Sean Ryan in the past, but that has been mostly in the run game. I do agree, though, that the obvious number one thing they need to do is play better up front across the board. That will lead to victories. That will lead to offensive output. You guys know I talk about it every summer, every offseason. The offensive line is the engine of your offense. You can have all the Star Wars weapons, all the bells and whistles at receiver, running back, tight end, whatever. But if your offensive line is busted, it doesn't matter. It just does not matter. Jim says, the last 2 games have not provided evidence that this Bengals game will be a win handily situation. I should have read this like this. I'm sorry. I missed that opportunity. Here, I'll go again. Here we go.
The last 2 games have not provided evidence that this Bengals game will be a, quote, win handily situation.
Jim, did you miss the first 2 games? I'm just saying, they are clearly a talented team, and they've had a little break. And yes, the last 2 games that they have played have been supremely disappointing. But you can't tell me you weren't sitting there after the Commanders game thinking, oh, man, this team's pretty damn good. And then they had 2 bad games, and now you're like, oh, they can't win handily? Come on. It is a week-to-week league, and you're only as good as your last game. Talk to the Eagles about that. You have to seize this moment. Hopefully the bye came at the right time. Make a few adjustments, stop shooting yourself in the foot, and go dominate these fools because they are a better team. That is zero question. It is just a question of executing when you're out on the field. Braden, thanks again, man. Oh, and the NFC is wide open. Look at last night. Case in point, man. Case in point. Again, how you're playing in September really is not that consequential. What is important is that you could keep improving as the year goes on. And hopefully, again, we start a run here as the Packers continue to improve through October into November and then really hit the ground running come December. Mr. Tundra, what's going on, man? Gave a few retiree coworkers from Minnesota 4 packs of Carry the G yesterday. The ones who got back to me really liked it. Really liked it. Well, that's what I like to hear. Geez, that makes me think of a song I once heard.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so creamy and cold, and from the land of the green and gold.
Carry the G Cream Ale, the official beer of CHTV. Any excuse, people. Any excuse. RCS, how are you? My ales are fixed by ales. You know what I mean? Cream ales, to be sure. And yes, I do know what you mean. No doubt, no doubt about it. What else we got here? If I don't want to miss anybody. Joshua says this will be a make it or break it game for the Packers. Got to disagree with you, Joshua. I understand it feels like that, especially after the disappointment of those first or the last two games, but no. Losing this game against an AFC opponent in early October is not make or break for the season. Now, will it destroy my mentions? Will my inbox fill up? Will the comments on Spotify be like 10 times meaner and more awful? Yes, no question about it. Our feelings as fans will be on fire. But it's not make or break in any way, shape, or form. That said, still a game they should win. Absolutely. Ed, thanks again, man. No one, not any pre-snap penalties. Well, that's the hope, right? And especially since they're playing at home, you really hope they're drilled in, focused, and ready to go. Because you're right, man. That's, again, kind of bubbled up here these last couple games, starting to shoot themselves in the foot again like we saw throughout 2024. Got to get locked in, get back to clean operation. And I really, really hope they win the toss, accept the kick, and go right down and score on the opening drive without false starts, holding calls, what have you. Need a clean game, no doubt about it. Menace. What's up? I don't want a polite Midwestern family-friendly win. I want a belt-to-ass win against an awful team with a 136-year-old quarterback with cement feet. Menace, I'm gonna learn you some knowledge right here. I appreciate that sentiment, and you are not alone in that regard. I too would love to see a belt-to-ass type performance. However, the easiest, and I mean easiest way to make the football gods laugh is to tell them what you want or what your plans are. Just win. Just go 1-0. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how they do it. I don't care if it's by 50 or if it's by 3. Just win. It's all that matters. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to get going. I cannot thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor and hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget, tomorrow here in Green Bay, downtown at Hagemeister Park, Corey and I will be drinking some Carry the G, talking football with all of you fine folks, Packers fans, literally from around the world. I've heard from a couple people from a couple different countries that are going to be in attendance tomorrow. If you're in the area, come on down, 5 o'clock. So a couple hours before the Brewers even start, so you can, get a couple beers in you and relax and stop being so nervous about stuff and just talk Packers and ball and have a good time. 5 o'clock tomorrow, Hagemeister Park, downtown Green Bay. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope to see you there. Everyone, please do hit like, hit subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'll see you Sunday after Watch Party. Thanks so much. Go Pack Go.